welcome back to my channel. It's been a year and a half since I was my last video, but my excuses, I was just struggling with my skin and I had no confidence in it. But besides the point, I'm back with this video. I asked a few of you guys, a bunch of you guys on Instagram what questions you had about makeup, and I tried to answer it to the best of my abilities. By no means am I a makeup artist or a makeup expert. I just enjoy it, and this is how it works with me, and I'm just trying to explain to you. Enjoy the get ready with me, and yeah. So obviously I'm going to start with some sunscreen. I've been using the Klairs one, so the Soft Airy UV Essence. I'm not too fussy with sunscreen. I just don't like that greasy feel or having like a white cast like left over, but sunscreen honestly is so important. I didn't realize until like I started watching a lot of videos from Wish Trend, Beauty Within, those channels. They're like really focused on skincare. I've come to really enjoy doing skincare, and I think it also really stemmed from me having really bad skin for the past year. A lot of it really like took away my skin confidence, I guess, and I used to have to like wear makeup all the time everywhere, when it got to the point where I was so self-conscious that I had to like wear a full face of makeup to go to the gym. Like obviously clogging your pores by putting on like, you know, a whole full layer of foundation, full coverage, is obviously not going to do you any good. But then I really like started my skincare routine, and then I guess this is like how it's been so far. You can still see like bits of redness, like acne scars and stuff like that. A lot of it came down to me using too many products. You know, the whole 10-step Korean routine. It doesn't work for everyone. Your skin can get overwhelmed with so much. So I really had to like learn to cut down, and it's also like my cry of desperation, I guess, where I had to use everything that everyone suggested. Not everything works for everybody. So yeah, I've just been cutting down my routine a lot. But yeah, sunscreen. Back to sunscreen. I think it's the most important skincare step, mainly because it ruined the collagen production from sun damage. So it's definitely highly recommended. Use sunscreen every day. Alrighty, so after sunscreen, we've got primer, and I've been really enjoying the VDL one, the Lumilayer Primer. I heard this many times from so many makeup artists and YouTubers. It's kind of a subtle difference, but once you like put it on, you definitely can tell that your skin looks so much more glowy, more dewy, more healthier, as opposed to just having it flat without any primer underneath. It just has a really nice glow to it, and honestly I've just like been preferring that look lately rather than me caking it on. Well, I still cake it on, but it's like it looks more healthy. So I just concentrated on like the high points, and then I go in with a primer to like help with my pores or like smile lines. Some foundations can accentuate it. So I'm using the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. It's like, I think Tarte raves on about it, so I just like made the leap. But it's like a toucher, the toucher primer. It's like the same thing. There's lots of reviews online saying like they're very comparable, but apparently once you break down the mattes, you get more value out of the toucher one. You only need a little bit at a time. Alright, so once that's done, I'm going to go in with foundation. I've been really enjoying the Wet n Wild one, the Photo Focus one, if I can find it. Yep, so I'm in the shade Soft Beige. What I like about it is that it's really nice and full coverage, and it holds on for the whole day. It's the only foundation that doesn't cake up on me by the end of the day. Like, you know how when you have those, like, it just starts to separate by the end of the day. A lot of foundations tend to do that, but this one is not the case at all, and it's a very full coverage finish. You can see I'm doing half of my face, and it already looks quite flawless. They're not joking when they say that it photographs really nicely in pictures. So yeah, if you do have like a friend going to America, let them know which shade to pick up. Honestly, I had to like trial and error so many times. I had to get 2 different friends to get me it, because the first one did not match me at all. This sponge is honestly so good. if you really like a full coverage look, or if you really like not using as much product. When they say it doesn't soak up as much product, it's like, I'm being serious, it doesn't. You can use a lot less and go further with it. And the texture of it's not like a typical sponge, and it just feels so, it definitely feels different. It's not like the ones like from Beauty Blender or Real Technique. So yeah, this one does come down to like a matte finish, but you can still slightly see the glow from the primer underneath. Alrighty, next I'm using concealer. I've been using the Tarte one. I'm just trying to finish it off. I think this shade is a little light, but I really want to finish this off and then purchase the Born This Way, the new one, the Too Faced one. I've heard so many good reviews about it, and they said it's less drying than the Tarte Shape Tape, which is kind of the problem I have with it. It just doesn't look as fresh and like healthy, I guess. So if you prefer something a little more hydrating under the eyes, I definitely recommend the Born This Way one over the Tarte. When I first used the Tarte, I didn't understand the hype at all, but I purchased like 3, so I'm trying to, you know, use that up first before I buy any more. I have this problem where I just want everything that everyone suggests to me, but you know, that's not sustainable. And I'm just gonna put some on my nose just to, and then some on my chin, and whatever's remaining I just pat it onto my eyes. For the longest time I didn't put like sunscreen on my eyelids, so my eyelids are a lot darker. But someone did ask me, how do you hide the acne scars and dryness? I can't even hide a pimple. Obviously a full coverage foundation would help, but if you've got texture to your skin, it really accentuates it when you've got a matte foundation. Like anything that makes it like emphasize it by looking like really dry. I'm not saying that I'm an expert, but I had like really bad skin and textured skin, and it was so obvious when I had powder. Like I just baked the crap out of my face. So it was really drying, and then everyone would kind of point it out. So try using a chemical exfoliant rather than a physical one. Physical ones can really be abrasive, but you can find some more gentle ones. But I've been really enjoying like AHAs, BHAs. I picked this up in Korea. It's kind of like a toner that's got AHA, BHA, PHAs, and it's saying it's like a 30-day thing. So if you use it for 30 days straight, it'll help with your skin texture. So try that first. In regards to acne and pimples and trying to cover that up, if you've got scars, those ones are much easier to cover up. You just need a full coverage concealer. You leave it on, you pat it on your skin, you leave it on, and then wait about a minute. Just let it dry first a little bit, and then you go in to blend it out. Alright, so powder's next. I get really oily in my T-zone, right? So generally I would bake that area, but this foundation and like my setting spray, which I'll use later, it becomes dewy rather than oily, greasy looking. So I've just been using like my Colourpop or the RCM Made No Color powder. That one's really nice. It doesn't emphasize the texture on your skin. So all I do is grab the cap, I have a little bit of powder in there, dot it in there a few times, and literally just do my under eyes or the areas that I get oily. I haven't been powdering my cheeks, because if there's no reason for you to powder it, then don't bother. I don't know, that's just how I've been doing it lately. So just the forehead where I get a bit more oily, my nose and my eye, this kind of cheek area. Alright, so after powder, I usually go in with my eyebrows just to frame my face before I go in with eyeshadow. No, I don't do that. I go in with my cheek products. So what I've been doing lately is, so I use contour, bronzer, highlight, and then blush. I'll just step you through it. For contour, I like using these type of brushes. It's a little dirty. This one's nice because it's nice and thin, and it's not too fluffy. I've been using the Tarte Pro Glow to Go. It's got 2 highlight shades and then a contour. And what I do is I just pat one side of it, shake off the excess, and then what I do, so someone asked me how to contour. So the general rule is the tip of your ear down to the bottom of your cheek. But you know, everyone's face is structure is a bit different. I do it to make my face look smaller. So you can see that there's a hollow there. This one you can't see because of the light, but you can definitely see when you smile. So I tend to stop at the end of my eyes. I like to concentrate it at the where your hairline is, and then bring it down. Sometimes like the bathroom lighting can really affect how you do your makeup, so just be careful, be like conscious of that, because sometimes if you go in and you just keep building, it's so obvious in like when you're like people can see you. So something like this, even though it doesn't look like a lot, I feel like it's enough for an everyday kind of going out look. Next up, I've got bronzer, and I've been really loving these two. So they're obviously two different, drastically different price points. So I've got the Marc Jacobs Tantastic one. I'm so glad I got it. It smells so good. And then I got the butter bronzer. So these two are very comparable. This one's definitely a bit more cool tone. So if you're a bit lazier, you can actually use this as a contour and a bronzer together. And then this one is a bit more warm. So I'm going to use this one today since I did bronze. I contoured just now. And I like using the Real Technique blush brush for bronzing. It's just really fluffy, and honestly it's a good surface area, well for me anyway, to go in with it. So for bronzer you also want to build it up slowly. So I just pat it in like that, shake it off, and then start from similarly just a little higher than the contour, and then this whole area can be used as bronzer. So the difference between a bronzer and a contour you usually have a cool tone shade, whereas bronzer is warm. It's to bring life back into your face. Contour is just helping defining cheekbones or like jawlines, just to create a shadow. Bronzer doesn't do that, so it just looks more healthy. You've got a bit of color to your face rather than being really flat. See, I just look more defined. I forgot to contour my nose, but what I do for my nose, I just use the same contour brush and just like boop, and then just go straight down, and then same thing from the other side, just a little bit, and then go straight down. Like I'm not precise with it at all. At least it gives like a little color to my nose area, because if your whole face is bronzed up and your nose is like the same color as your foundation, it just looks empty. Yeah, I don't do it for the purposes of trying to make it longer. I mean, that's like a 2-in-1 I guess, but I just need to add a little color to it. And then I go in with a blush. No, I don't. I go with highlighter next. The reason why I do highlighter before blush, I would recommend doing that, because if you put down the highlight after your blush, it just, there's like, sometimes when the color's not right, it just looks like a streak, right? So I've been really enjoying the Colourpop F5 small fluff brush. So I used to use this, but now I'm using that. It doesn't look like a huge difference, but this one's more densely packed than this one. This one's a bit more flimsy, I guess. It still works, but I prefer this one just to get that intense glow. And even if you don't want an intense glow, you can really just go light-handed with it and just like highlight this area. But what I do is use a C shape. The reason why I don't like this one as much is because it covers too much of an area. If it's a little bit more densely packed like this, you can really angle it right, if that makes sense. People have asked me about the highlighter that I've been using. Difference between highlighter and flash, but I think what he meant was flashback. Yep, so the highlighter that I've been going to recently is these two. So we've got the Fenty Beauty one in Hustler Baby, and I've got the Becca one here in Champagne Pop. When I first bought this, I was kind of underwhelmed. I didn't really understand what was the big schmeal about it. It was just like a highlighter, but then I switched over to the Hustler Baby, the Fenty Beauty one in the little set. It's honestly really nice. It's got a very nice glow to it. They both do. After using this one for a while, I switched back to this recently. I'm not sure. I think in the photo I'm wearing the Champagne Pop one, but this one is much more suited for my skin tone at the moment. This one is a little slightly dark and it's got a pink shift to it. So let me just swatch it for you. So this is Hustler Baby. This one's Champagne Pop. You can see they've got like different undertones to it. And what I do is like I scribble in it and then I tap it off. Like completely off. And then what I do is start with the highest point of my face, which is around here, the end of your eye. And you want to swirl it. In that kind of shape. For me, I've been really enjoying the Champagne Pop one. Recently converted back to it. Ooh, okay. And the same thing for the other side. And it just has like a beautiful glow to it. Can you see that? Oh my god. And then just whatever's remaining, tip of the nose bridge, just on the sides of my eyebrows, forehead, and the top of your lip. Now that we've got the highlighter down, I go in with the blush. So recently I've been using either the Colourpop Between the Sheets Super Shock Cheek or the Milani Luminoso. They both have really nice peachy corally color to it, but today I think I'm gonna go with the Colourpop one. So this formula is similar to their eyeshadow, just a bigger pan. And what I do with this one, sometimes I use my fingers, but I feel like it doesn't get the control I want. But I've been using this like MAC 187 brush. It's like a duo fiber one, and what I do is just like do that, swirl around in it, get any excess off, and then go in. I really concentrate it in this cheek area rather than extending it out, because my face is it's not small but it's more flat, like it's a circle. So I just concentrate it on this area rather than dragging it out, because I've got no space left. That's already taken up by my bronzer. And then the same thing for the other side. It just like has a little cute flush to it. See, this is what I mean by like it just helps blend in your highlight so it doesn't look so harsh sitting on top. Alright, so that's the base done. We'll go in with eyebrow next, and I've got a few questions about eyebrows, so I'll just read them all out. Oh, sorry, I actually didn't answer the question. Difference between highlighter and flashback. So flashback, when you take photos, like flash photography, a lot of people tend to have the white cast on their face. And with that, it's a lot to do with your makeup products or sunscreen, a lot of SPF. So you've got to watch out for ingredients in the foundation, concealer, powder as well. Apparently zinc oxide is the big culprit. It has photo reflecting properties. The reason why, like, there's physical sunscreens use zinc oxide, and that produces the white cast on your face. That's because it's reflecting the sun rays. So when it takes photos, the light is gonna bounce back at you as well, giving that white cast. So a lot of the times Korean girls have a lot of that kind of problem because their cushion foundations tend to have SPF in it. If you don't have sensitive skin, use a chemical sunscreen, and that's going to absorb into your skin. It's not going to leave a white cast. So that's the same thing as the Klairs one. That's why I'm really enjoying that one. You're supposed to use a teaspoon amount each time you put sunscreen on to get the full effect of it. If you don't have, you can't just rely on your foundation to give you that SPF, and it's like enough SPF in it, because it just doesn't. So that's the difference between flashback and highlighter. Highlighter is this. That photo was from the last day of 2018, and I think by then I was already converted back to this one. So the Becca Champagne Pop was my highlight. I'm not sure if this person's trolling me, but there's a lot of good questions. Elton. So he's asking, how do I avoid foundation neck? A lot of the times I would suggest people just swatching on their neck, swatching foundations in store on their neck, and see if that matches to your neck, because it doesn't matter if it matches to your hand, to your face. It doesn't look cohesive if your face is and your body is two different colors. My face is a lot whiter, and I think that's got to do with the SPF that I only put on my face. But yeah, just make sure you match it to your neck. How do I keep my makeup brushes clean? You're asking the wrong person. I should be washing them much more often, but I don't. Okay, so now we're up to eyebrows. Which kind of eyebrow product do I use, and where do I get them done? My brows are everything, thank you, but if you look at it now, not so much. It's I usually get them threaded, either in the city or just anywhere, honestly. They seem to know what they're doing. Sometimes they do make it a little thin, but just let them know, hey, I don't want my eyebrows to look naked, so please don't make them disappear. Also, the problem I had with my last lady was that she arched it too early, so that's why I'm like growing them out and they look crazy. But I've been using the Benefit Gimme Brow. I've also been enjoying the Cabral version as well. I use these all on rotation, like it's different every day, whatever I'm feeling. I really like the Colourpop Brow Boss eyebrow pencil thing. It's in dark brown. This honestly, what, it's like $6 or something USD, but this is so good. This has a really nice tip to it. For what it is, Colourpop is so good. The quality, everything. So I think this is so much more worth it. If you want something like immediate, there's also the NYX micro brow pencil. This one's in the shade Espresso. I do think they're comparable. This one's much thinner and much more accessible for Australians, I guess. If you want something quick, you can go into store. But a lot of the times it is out of stock because it's that good. So it's really up to your luck. I'm in the shade Espresso. But for today, I'm just going to use the Cabral and the Gimme Brow. So what I tend to do first is just go in with this. Some people, this only works if you've got hair to cling onto. It doesn't cling onto nothing, if that makes sense. So what I do is just brush my hairs up, and it just has a slight tint to it. It's nothing too crazy. You can see that this one's a lot darker than that already. And a lot of people feel comfortable just leaving the house like this. But I just like to give it a bit more volume, more life to it. Like for me, I don't feel like I have enough hair. So that's why I go in with a bit more afterwards. If you want something to hold your hairs, I feel like this one doesn't do a very good job. It just looks nice for the first hour. So yeah, they're like pretty bushy right now. So what I tend to do is use this. Sometimes it gets a bit dry, so I just dot some facial oil in there, or hair oil, just to emulsify it a bit more. And what I use is the Zoeva Wing Liner 317 brush. Smash it in, and then wipe off the excess like this on the sides of the bottle, the cap thing. And I just want to focus it towards the end first rather than the beginning. So I just mine the tail first. Oh, they're both in shade 3, the Gimme Brow and this one. So I just line the bottom and then line the top and then arch it down like that to a point. For the longest time I wasn't arching it far enough, so it kind of just like looked really weird. But generally the rule is like from your nose to the eyes to the tip of the brow, the ends of the brow. That's where you want to end it. And then whatever's remaining on my brush, I just flick it upwards towards the front. Ta-da! My eyebrows are done. Nice and easy. And just repeating the same process on the other side, and I'm just wiping off the excess. And then start from the middle. Oh, what should you do with your makeup if sunburn hits you? So sunburns, they hurt, so you don't want to put something too heavy on them. Sunburn, you can soothe it with aloe gel first. So there's a lot of places that sell it. I'd really recommend using aloe just every time you can use it. When you've got sunburns, it really helps soothe it and really heal it quicker. In terms of putting, like, are you talking about makeup over it? It's really hard because your skin, I don't go outside, so I don't know what it's like to get sunburn. I don't like the beach either, so you know, I wear a lot of SPF as well, so make sure you do that next time. Well, I mean, it is going to be a bit discolored. If it's red, you can correct it with a green color corrector and then go over with like a light colored foundation. But yeah, that's the only advice I'd have. Just use aloe and sunscreen next time. Learn from your mistakes. Next up is eyeshadow now. So now that we've got a base for your eyebrows. You know how far to go. So usually when I start off with eyeshadow, I go with the like any brow bone white highlight. I don't like using ones with shimmer in it because it's really obvious, but like I already have like a little bit of shimmer left from the highlight I put down. But I've been using like the bone colored shades for under my eyebrows just really quickly. Like it's super rough, so I've hit pan on it. But all I do is use a flat brush and just towards the end just highlight it and bring it all to the front, whatever's remaining to the front, and then just looks a little more carved out without putting the effort in of concealer. Ta-da! Done. So I always want to do that first rather than once I finish my eyeshadow, because I don't have a lot of space to deal with. So when I blend too high and then I go into the cream color shadow, it's just gonna look like it just finished, you know, it doesn't look blended in. So do that first if you've got like, you're working with very little space. I'll just do something really simple. I'm just gonna take this burnt orange shade in the Modern Renaissance palette, then just using a big fluffy brush, just like one of these ones, just messily, can you see, I'm just like chucking this out everywhere. And what I've been recently doing is extending it out, because previously in the past I would stop at the end of my eye, but then there was like all this space to work with that was empty. This is kind of like how much space you want to use up to until the end. I tend to do my foundation first and then go in with my eyeshadow. A lot of people like to start with eyeshadow first because of fallout and just getting that precision. People have been asking me what my favorite eyeshadow palettes are. I have a lot, but I generally just gravitate to my Jaclyn Hill palette. Not the Vault, the original one. That one's, you got a lot of shades in there. It's also different variety. That's why I enjoy playing with it, because it's different colors to it. It's also got your main like your browns, your reds, your warm color tones, and it's easy to create like so many different looks with it. Obviously for traveling purposes, it's not, you know, like travel friendly. It's a huge palette. It's one of these ones. I personally don't watch her, but she has this palette and it's so nice. There's so many colors to it. I like playing with colors, especially when I've got to go to work. But yeah, that's the one I've been really enjoying. I also really want to pick up a Natasha Denona palette. It's so expensive though, but I think I'll make the leap at the next sale. Hopefully I get there, because it gets out of stock really quickly, because it is a pricey palette and everyone wants it on sale. But I think I might do it. So now that I've got like my transition color down, I use the MAC 217 one. That one's a really popular one, and I just go in the Real Gar shade, this orange one at the end, and I just help deepen up that area. So the first shade was my transition shade, which means that, you know, it just looks like it's a seamless blend up, but this one, it just helps deepen create the crease look. It makes it look deeper. Palette's really powdery, but I like it for its pigment. I wouldn't say it's like beginner friendly because it does pack a punch, but if you've got the right brushes to help blend it out, it'll be really helpful. It usually takes a while to blend it all out, so really be patient with it. Then afterwards I'll go in with the Colourpop E1 brush, and what I do is go in with the Cypress Umber, it's like the brownish shade, and I just do one of these and then tap it off. And what I've been enjoying is using, like, I don't really like, if I'm in a rush, I don't use a liquid eyeliner to do my eyeliner, so I just use an eyeshadow and just pack it at the edge of the corner first, okay, and then start like extending that out and extend, so it kind of has like this little baby wing, and that's what I've been doing. And then I start blending a little bit upwards into like to define the crease at the end. And I just have one last question. It's just like, how do I blend eyeshadow out? I think it depends on your eye shape. It took me a long time to get it. It's all trial and error. I can't tell you like one way to do it, but this is my way of doing it. and I've got like hooded lids, and like you can see there's like a lot of fat here, so that's why there's like a curvature over my liner. You can see, like, you can see in the camera, but you know, this is the way I picked it up, and I enjoy doing it like this. It really depends on the person, like depends on your eye shape. What I like, my preference is just having like a smoky corner, like at all times. I feel I look too natural, I guess, when I don't have that on, and like a shimmery inner lid. After that, I'm just gonna go in with my brush and just blend the edges out. The key is just always keep blending and something magical will happen. You also want to get like good quality brushes as well. I don't know, I'm a firm believer of that. If you don't have a good quality brush, it's not gonna like do your eyeshadow justice. But yeah, this one's the MAC one. There's obviously like dupes for it. There's the Sigma one. I don't prefer the shape of it, but a lot of people like the E40 brush. I honestly haven't used it much at all, because I do prefer the MAC one. It has more of like a tapered and domey. This one's too, like, can you see the difference? It is like super expensive. It's like what, $60 for a brush, but it has been like a huge game changer for me. So in my opinion, it was worth it for me. On my lid, I usually just use like a shimmering shade, a lighter color, but I'm just gonna go back to my roots, the Lala Super Shock Shadow. Ooh, haven't used this one in a while. Just use my finger and dab it on. For my inner corner highlight, I just used like a brush, like a pencil brush. So this is the Zoeva Luxe Pencil in 230. I usually use like a highlighter, so I'll just go with the Becca one today. And what I tend to do is just do like all my tricks are just like one dab. And I like this one because it's like a nice shape for it. People have different shapes for the eye shapes, right? So I just like doing it just right where my inner corner like tear duct is, because when I drag it in too much, it looks like there's just a dot there. For my eye shape, it doesn't really suit the really extended ones. It looks like eye poop. But something like that, just to open up the eyes a little bit more. And now for the bottom lash, I really like the smudger brush from Zoeva 226. Just using the same burnt orange shade just on the bottom lid. And especially for Asian eyes, you don't want to drag it too down, because it looks a bit muddy. So you want something small, like this brush, to help line it at the bottom. Sometimes I use this for like eyeshadow eyeliner, so I just use the darker shade and just do my winged eyeliner at the top. But for the sake of this, I just use it for the bottom. Something to match the top. I think I might go with a little bit of eyeliner actually. So I've been using the one I got from Japan. It's called the Love Liner liquid thing. Just line it really, really close to the lash line. Oh no, did you see that? No. Goodbye. No. In that case, I just go with the Colourpop liner, the Colourpop shadow again, and just go over it. Okay, let's try that again. I did it. Woo! Now my makeup is done, kind of. So I go in with setting spray. Setting spray, let me tell you, makes a huge difference. I'm not joking. I really like the Urban Decay All Nighter. I do have the MAC Fix It, oh, what's it called? Fix It Felix. Fix Plus and the D-Slick. Since I've got a whole day ahead of me, I always tend to go with the All Nighter one. It's got a nice spray to it. The MAC Fix Plus, however, oh my god, it is so... it attacks you. So I'm just trying to use it up. Like, it's a good setting spray, just not a good nozzle. So maybe like after I finish this, I might put that in here. yeah, do that. I also have the Morphe Continuous Mist as well. That one is so nice. It's so nice. And for 23 bucks, so good. So I go in like super heavy with this. I spray like 12 times. Even though they suggest to do it like 2 to 4. I feel like it does help with longevity and just sinks the powder. It just looks more skin-like. So I'll just show you. This is the before. So it's just 8 times, but it just looks so fresh. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it just looks so like dewy. And then straight after, I just fan it out. Okay, so usually I would go in with the setting spray first and then the mascara. Honestly, this isn't as good as people say it is. I think it really helps if you got long lashes. But if you don't, I like the Face Shop one, and it's only $6.50. It looks like this. It's called the Big Mascara. It helps lengthen it, mainly. Sorry, I had to like stare at these crusty ass lips the whole time. Oh yeah, on my second account on Instagram, follow me. It's just my makeup account. I just tend to upload like selfies and whatever. I did mention like, oh, don't use lip balm until after you set your foundation. If you're wearing a full coverage foundation and you put it on, you put your lip balm on like when you're doing your skincare, you tend to not go up as far with your foundation. So once you wipe off the lipstick or the lip balm, it's just like a ring around your foundation that hasn't been, you know, filled in. I usually just go in like a MAC Velvet Teddy or the Zoomer by Colourpop. It's so good. So this is like my lip combo usually. I go in with the Zoomer. It's an ultra bodied lip. It's my favorite formula. It is, however, like a little drying, but it's kind of not as matte as the ultra matte lips. And it just has like a nice wash of color. They also completely dry down. And then what I usually do, I really like the Fenty gloss. It's actually pretty good. I just wipe off the excess, and my tip is to just put it on the top, like the very top and the very bottom part of your lip, so you don't have that crusty like goopy area in the inner part of your lips. So just the ends, and then that's like where the light hits the most. So that's why I just tend to put it at the top and the bottom. So yeah, that's the completed look. Hope you enjoyed watching. I tried my best to give a few tips here and there, and thanks for sending in some of your questions. See you in a year and a half, and remember to wear your sunscreen.